likes a salmon. I'm just joking. Welcome to another episode of Giggles and Glutes with Zoë and Donaé, bringing you the latest on fitness, how to build confidence, and everything in between. Today we will be bringing you a topic on PCOS, and I'm going to hand straight over to Donaé, who is the expert in this.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Expert, I'm not so sure about. I just like a little bit of background. I was diagnosed with PCOS when I was 19 years old, and it's actually a very overwhelming experience, to be honest, because there's a lot of things that you need to know when it comes to PCOS. But as a 19-year-old walking into the gynecologist's office, and then they do the scan and all of that, and then your ovaries come up on the screen. And at 19 years old, laying in that bed, looking at the screen and just seeing black holes all over your ovaries, you go, oh my word. What even is this? And basically, the doctor says you have PCOS. As you can see on the scan here, you see all of those black dots. They are the cysts on your ovaries. So, how we are going to treat this is we are going to put you on the pill. First thing, not even asking you about your eating history or training history and all of those things. Basically, just saying that we're going to put you on the pill. This could obviously be that I maybe didn't go to the greatest doctor, or I don't know if this is what all gynecologists do, but just day to day, doctors often give you medication and they're like, take this will help you. The first thing that alarmed my mother was that my cycle was irregular. So before I get into any of that and all of that, PCOS is Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome. And basically what this means is that there are growth of cysts on your ovaries, which can appear to be very alarming. And some people often fear, which I was one of them, that, oh my word, I'm never going to have babies. Does this mean that I'm infertile? But it doesn't. What this only means is that it affects your reproductive system, but not in a sense that you will be infertile, just in a sense that your hormone levels are completely different, your metabolism is completely different, and as a result, obviously, your energy and your body shape is also different. So, just giving you a little bit of science about it, like the things that we need to know is that the symptoms, firstly, of PCOS is what a lot of people don't know. And I've realized that there are so many people, like more than I can imagine, that I'm hearing like that has PCOS. Every second person has PCOS. But statistically, every 1 in 10 women actually have PCOS. And not to alarm anybody, but that's a lot if you think about it, like 1 in 10 women to have PCOS. And basically what it means is that the symptoms that you have could be like really bad acne, really bad bloating. Naturally, your testosterone levels could be very high. You gain a lot of weight. You have an insane amount of cravings for sugar, which is why a lot of people actually end up having diabetes because they don't know that this is what they have. So they're eating because this is what their body's asking, because this is what the PCOS is doing to their body, and then they end up having diabetes later in life as well.
That's
And like
crazy
facial,
that those two things are linked, actually.
it is very much, and there's a lot of young girls actually will be like, I can't lose weight. I don't understand why I can't lose weight, but never really going to go and see the doctor or finding out or doing research about it, because as sad as it is, people don't study the female body, as we discussed in our last episode, and there's so much to know about the female body, and they end up like having an excess amount of facial hairs because of their high testosterone levels, which me, for example, my doctor said that my PCOS is a rare PCOS because I don't have the weight gain, but I do still naturally have high levels of testosterone, which is why I build muscle so quickly. And it does come down to genetics at the end of the day, regardless. So I'm part of the, don't hate me, but I'm part of the few people that can eat whatever they want. And still maintain, but just going back to where your hormones are at and understanding your body, even in the sense that like all these people have PCOS, but again, it can be so different person to person.
And did you go and see a new doctor after your first doctor when you were 19 years old?
I did actually. When I was 19, I was still on my parents' medical aid, and then I got kicked off when I was 21. I had to see the
The
family
sad
die, the
life of
family die.
adulthood.
When I was 21 and I got my own medical aid, I changed my doctor and I'm still with the doctor. Every time I go home, which is once a year, I go and see this exact same doctor. I said to him, I am not happy with being on the pill because the pill regulated my cycle, yes, but at the same time, it affected my mood so much. I was tired all the time and miserable half the time, did not recognize myself. And I said, I don't want to be on the pill. Is there anything else that we can do? And he suggested that I do this elimination diet, which is basically you cut things out slowly. We always start with dairy and eggs first. Cut those out, see how your body's responding, how your energy levels are feeling. Obviously, exercise is a great way. Exercise is amazing for everything. So like exercise and lifting weights actually because of the high testosterone level. So you kind of want to work with your body in that sense. That's basically what I did and I stayed all up until this day. I never went back on it and I'm just still being mindful of what I eat and just working with my body. So I did change my doctor, yeah.
I remember how sluggish you used to be. Donaé and I would be at work and I'd be like, I'm going to train now. Are you joining me? Then she'd be like, yeah. Then after her client, I'm like, Donaé, I'm going to get dressed now. Are you getting dressed? She's like, oh, I think I'm going to go home.
My afternoon nap was so vital to me at some point. I remember, like, I had to, after the morning shift at work, I had to go home and sleep. Otherwise, I literally could not function. And as a result, I actually didn't train for about 2 years. I didn't train until I got back into movement and all of that.
Yeah.
It was wild too. But again, like just being aware of your body and what is happening.
And that's why I said last week I was so proud of you because I saw you in that 2 years just like running away from fitness completely because you actually just couldn't. Hormonally, your
Yeah.
body was not allowing you to do what you wanted to do, even if you brought your gym bag to work every day. That pink Adidas bag.
The fact that you remember the bag, I used to religiously pack my bag and then not wear the clothes. And I don't even keep the same bag. I change the clothes the next day as if I wore the clothes. But I did come out on the other end. I eventually went back to the gym and was like sick and tired of feeling this
Yes,
way. And I just did
yes.
not like it. I decided to make the change. Which is also another thing. I feel like it's very easy to fall into this. Oh, but I have PCOS, so I'm not gonna. Oh, but I have PCOS, so I'm just gonna gain all this weight. I have PCOS, so I'm just gonna. It's very easy to fall into that. But at the end of the day, if you want to make a change, like anything and everything in your life, you have to be the person that decides. I am no longer going to give into this. I am no longer going to give myself the excuse that I have PCOS because, like anything, you can work with it. You don't have to give into it. If we look at a person that's a disabled body that's in the Olympics, the Paralympics, for example, those people individually could have easily been like, I'm giving up on life. But they go out and they still do amazing sport because they work
Yeah.
with their body. So even like this, on a smaller scale, you have PCOS, work with your body. Do research, try and understand it where you can relate to it from your side. You don't have to follow suit from all people, but also because it's something personal, obviously, as well.
And also, like you said, you went to the doctor and you told the doctor that you no longer wanted to be on the contraceptive. Your relationship with the doctor is a relationship. It's like you tell the doctor what to do and what not to do. That if you don't want to be on contraceptive and stuff like that because of whatever reason, then tell the doctor that you don't want to do that and that you want something alternative. They should be able to work out an alternative way for you, just like your doctor did for you, to find a better way that will make both of you happy.
Exactly, because being in a place where you can make the decision, because it is your body, regardless of what the doctor says. The doctor can write you a script of antibiotics. If you don't want to take it, you don't have to take it. It is your body. That script is not a sentence that you have to do. And it all comes down to just being aware of what your response is, because a lot of women, unfortunately, just take the medication and then they go with how they are feeling, and then it is what it is. We don't do anything to change it. And they stick into the same like habit and then end up asking themselves or actually saying, I don't know why I am feeling like this. I don't know what's going on. But fixing the problem and not going to the root of the problem is not going to fix it. If we think about a plant that is rotting, every time you cut the flower head off, it's going to come out and die. Cut the flower head, come out, die. But if you pull it out from the root, then there's room for new growth. So basically just looking at it, I love making these analogies.
You always coming through with analogies, always. And then me, I'm sitting here in my mind visualizing everything.
So basically just like taking note of your body as we've already mentioned. And then the only way that you can really diagnose PCOS is by going to the doctor. Doing the scan, the evidence will show in your scan the cyst on the ovaries. The doctor will obviously tell you things that you can do to prevent it and things that you can not prevent it because it never really goes away, but to help you live with it. Another thing just to be mindful of as well, if you are somebody who suffers from PCOS, is to watch your sugar intake. PCOS actually has a lot to do with your insulin level, so it's very easy to end up being diabetic. This is something that I also had to learn about. Everybody who knows me knows I love to be. I have cut down a lot actually because I realized like I am not in my 20s anymore. I mean, I am my last year, my 20s. But also, the older you get, the more you realize the importance of understanding your body and what you are putting into your body. Because now your views on life change, your responsibilities change. You maybe have a family now. You maybe have this new career path now. So there's a lot more things in your life that your age is becoming serious, you know. So there's a lot of things to take into account. If your estrogen levels can cause severe bloating, a lot of people with PCOS, women with PCOS, don't understand why they have a bloat. I have a bad bloat. I look like 3 months pregnant at least once a month, every month. I should have to take a picture and send you. It's insane. Like my bloat is really bad and I feel uncomfortable. My PMS also is so bad. So you get a normal period and then a period on PCOS and there's a delay in your cycle. So like I mentioned the last time that I am on like a 33 to 35 day cycle. I remember once I didn't have my period for 6 months and I was like, okay, I'm just going to wait for it to come back because it was at the time that I actually came off my medication, the contraceptive. And the doctor said to me, this will take some time. Your body needs to regulate itself again. It can take up to a year before you get your period again. And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. And every month, like clockwork, I would get all the symptoms of my period, but not my period. Until I got it again. For about 2 years, my cycle was regular without, but then again it went. So it's just constantly like having this irregular cycle and also trying to decipher where you are at, in which phase of my cycle am I at, because you don't really know. So being aware of your body is so important.
Yeah, and I think if you prioritize like gut health, that can improve digestion and reduce inflammation, especially if
Mm,
you suffer with bloating. And
yeah.
you don't prioritize gut health by going on a detox. You prioritize gut health by eating more leafy greens, veg, all kinds of veg, all colors of veg. That is going to build a good and healthy gut bacteria. Going on a detox or juice cleanse or whatever cleanse is the next fad diet does not prioritize gut health. It might solve the bad bacteria that is in your gut and cause that bad bacteria to die out because the gut bacteria most times dictate actually. Talking about the gut bacteria, side note, I was watching this documentary on Netflix. It was about the gut. And this one doctor was saying that all the time they were thinking that your mind is basically dictating what you want to eat or what you are craving or whatever. The way they're looking at the science at the moment, or what they believe, is that actually it's the bacteria in your gut that's sending signals to your brain telling you that this is what I'm craving, which is wild.
So you're
So
literally feeding the monster.
yes. No,
You're
literally.
literally feeding
So
the
if
monster.
you putting lots of bad stuff into your body all the time. And I'm not going to say bad stuff because I don't really believe that anything is inherently bad. I just feel like if you're consuming more unhealthy foods than healthy, your body's going to always crave the unhealthy stuff because all the bad bacteria within your gut are like, give us, give us McDonald's, give us chocolates, give us chips, give us. But when you start changing that cycle, automatically you're going to crave healthier things. I can see with myself now. For 2 months, I've still been snacking because I was in Cape Town. I had to go to Woolies and get my treats. But for the most part, I haven't been craving any sugar since being home. And it's because I was like, I'm done with eating all of the sugar and constantly wanting something liquor, you know? And just like that, I'm no longer craving sugar constantly. So in that way, yeah, that was a whole other side note. I apologize.
That's actually very interesting because our food obviously plays a massive role in everything. And so, if people can understand the importance of their gut health, they can eliminate so many issues and problems in their lives, really, to understand how important that is. So, bringing that into just the PCOS aspect as well, because our food is very important to our body. Food is fuel.
Cheesy sometimes.
Oh my goodness. There's a couple of things that I just want to run through about PCOS that you actually should avoid doing. And this is a blanket statement for everybody. It doesn't obviously have to be on the same level to everybody, but it is something that is typically proven to help your PCOS and could even possibly worsen it if you don't do these things. So like overtraining and hit cardio. So because there's already like the changes in your hormone level, you're constantly doing hit workouts and cardio only all the time. You're going to run flat into your reserve. Because of your hormones, you are already struggling with bad PMS, fatigue, a possible overweight. So you're asking so much of your body, and this can actually aggravate your PCOS in the sense that all your symptoms could be worse. Fasting and skipping meals as well. I'm trying to think that especially when you have PCOS where you have gained X amount of weight, you stop eating. A lot of people think that this is a quick way to lose weight. They're just going to starve themselves and skip their meal. It's actually doing the same thing because again, food is fuel. You need to feed your body, especially when you've got PCOS, because of your energy levels being so low. Your body actually requires more food of you. And then cutting out our energy source, which is our carbohydrates. A lot of people do this. They just cut out carbs, no bread, no oats, nothing at all. And again, back to your energy source, you are doing yourself a disservice by doing this. And then also lack of sleep. It's very important. And this is something I am extremely strict about because I went to boarding school and lights out was at 9 o'clock. This is when I was 15. So I try my utmost best to get to bed now at 10 o'clock at least for the latest. So if I don't respond to anybody after 10, I am sleeping. I'll see you in the morning. Having that 8 hours of sleep is so important. And again, just bringing it back to your energy levels because you are tired all the time. You just have to work with it basically. And then birth control tablets, a contraceptive as well. This is not the only way that you can fix and regulate your cycle. Again, coming back to food. If we think about athletes, any sort of athletes who train crazy, their body, because of what they eat, they actually skip their period as well. So fixing your food again is such an important factor. Basically, in a nutshell, everything comes down to your energy, your food, your activity, and your sleep, which is the fundamentals of life.
Yeah, and I also think that when you are putting your body under stress unnecessarily, like you said earlier, when you're skipping meals and you actually need the meals for the energy, that places your body under stress, which in return increases your cortisol levels and can worsen your insulin resistance because insulin and cortisol are so closely connected. Yeah. So in another way, that also affects your body's ability to process the insulin. And if it can't do that effectively, that's how you also end up with type 2 diabetes.
Which is quite interesting actually. But I don't want to overload you with information, but if you can bring it down to the basic, your food, your gut, which is related to your food, your sleep and your activity is the most important things and the things that you should focus on and take note on actually and adjust your life accordingly.
That is the life cycle of fitness. sleeping
Exactly.
well, drinking lots of water, or taking care of your gut, exercise, and then it goes back. And constantly we're going through the cycle and making sure, am I sleeping enough? Am I
Mm,
drinking enough water and looking after my gut? Am I moving enough? Am I
mm,
managing my stress? Then back. Am I sleeping? It's
okay.
constantly making sure that you're checking all of those boxes. And if you can just do 25% of each of those things every day, getting 25% right, and then tomorrow you try to do 30% more, and that should always be the goal, to gradually increase and gradually want to do more. Check yourself first, think to yourself, how am I sleeping? And am I getting between 7 and 8 hours of sleep? If not, that is something quick that you can correct. I think that is the easiest thing that you can correct out of all four of them, is to look at when you're going to bed and when you need to get up, and then plan your bedtime accordingly. Make sure that you are getting that rest. It's so important for your body to sleep. Any bodybuilder will tell you, listen, I need to sleep for my muscles to grow. It's so important just for that. If that's your only goal, to build muscle or whatever, then you need to make sure that you're getting enough sleep. And then it's back to the eating part, making sure that you're eating at least 80% of the time. You're having good, healthy, nutritious meals. The rest of the 20%, go wild. Do you, boo? And then you're getting back into your fitness part, making sure that you're working out, that you at least doing 4 out of 7 days of the week, and don't feel like you have to do those 4 times during the week. If you want to do twice during the week and twice on the weekend, or once during the week and then every day on the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it doesn't matter how you break it up. It matters how much you did over the whole period. That's what's more important. So if you skip a day or 2 days and then you do your 3 days, find what works for you, but always do as much as you can to the best of your ability. And then the last thing would obviously be to manage your stress and check, how am I feeling? What is stressing me out? What is causing me to act or feel in a certain way? And think about those stuff, diarize it, journal those emotions. That can help manage your stress as well.
I think that's very important, the journaling part, because it's a great way to reflect on how you were feeling. And
Yeah.
this is actually something that I encourage like my online ladies to do, how they are feeling week to week, so that they can see things, that we can cycle sync with their training, if that makes sense. You're not going to remember it was this week that I did this and this week that I felt this way. If you have a memory like mine, writing down everything is very important. Anywho, thank you guys so much for joining us. We had lots of fun giving you a little tips and science about PCOS. And Zoe and I really hope that you were able to take something from this episode, that you were able to relate in some way, and ultimately that we helped you in some way.
If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to like it. It lets the algorithm know that we are doing something great and that people actually enjoy listening to us. And it lets us know that we are on the right path as well. And if you want to listen to more episodes of us, obviously you're more than welcome to check out the Giggles and Glutes playlist on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and it's listed in a whole lot of other podcasting apps and on YouTube. We're going to end the episode with Donaé's favorite German word. Tschüssi. Tschüss. Take care. Bye.
Tschüssi.